guys, Meredith with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're checking out the Flowmaster FlowFX dual rear exit exhaust system, fitting all 2019 and newer Sierra 1500s with the factory dual exhaust system. Upgrading your exhaust will bring a lot of benefits to the table, and this one will be for the Sierra owner who's looking for a middle-of-the-road volume increase with a deepened tone for a defined presence to their truck, all while keeping the factory rear balance and tips. As you heard in the sound clip, this will be sure to deepen the sound of the V8 without being over the top for volume or overbearing in the cab. So in my opinion, this is going to get a 3 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being stock and 5 being wake the neighbors loud. That sound level makes it great for the daily driver or everyday commuter who wants the aggressive feel without disrupting their day-to-day. The most notable thing about this exhaust is, of course, the sound, and diving a bit deeper into it, it's going to add a sportier presence to the exterior of the truck with a low-toned rev and a throaty note to the 5.3 when you're getting into the higher RPM ranges. Now, because you are working with a V8 here and you're increasing the volume with a straight-through style muffler, you can expect a little interior noise, but compared to some very less restrictive systems, this isn't going to be too noisy, again, landing it in the middle of the road. Now, while this isn't a mod that I usually recommend for power, Flowmaster does show a max dyno gain of 21 horsepower and 26 pound-feet of torque, making it a great mod to add to any street build or to support any power mods. This will have a 3.5 to 3-inch dual mandrel bent pipe design, all made of a 409 stainless steel, being right in the middle with materials with good rust resistance while saving you a little bit of cash compared to some very high grade options. Now on the back, this will also stay inconspicuous because of the unfinished tailpipes, utilizing the factory rear balance as their outlet. The construction will also be completely bolt-on with factory located hangers and clamps, and most importantly, won't require any welding or cutting in order to install it. For a full catback system, this is going to be right in the middle of the road with price as well at around $875. Compared to other choices in the category, this will give you the best of both worlds of upgrading the sound without changing the appearance of your truck, especially if you don't want to modify your rear bumper. It will also save you a few bucks simply because of the fact that it does have a 409 stainless steel build, which won't be invincible to rust over time, but will still hold up well for what you need it for, which is going to be that sound for your 5.3. It's also mid-range on volume, making it an all-around great choice if you're looking for a good compromise of features in a good exhaust system. Install will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and take you about 2 hours to get the job done with the right tools and setup. However, at this point, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get this onto your Sierra at home. So that is going to wrap it up for my review. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, a long extension, a 13mm swivel socket, 13 and 15mm sockets, and a hanger removal tool. Also not shown here is a pole jack or jack and jack stands and an extra set of hands to help you get the exhaust out. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing an exhaust on our Sierra, but before we get started, we're going to send you to watch a short video on how to remove your factory setup, and we'll see you when you get back. Alright guys, so we've got our truck in the air, and the first thing we're going to do is start at the tail section, and we're going to go ahead and unbolt this crossover pipe. So that's got a 2-bolt flange connecting it, so it's a 13mm swivel socket and extension on our impact. We're going to fish that up in there, unbolt those 2 nuts, and then we can go ahead and remove the rear hanger and get this driver's side crossover tube out, and then we can move on to the rest of our system. So now we're going to come back to our tail section, and what we're going to do is remove this entire isolator. Instead of trying to get this out of the isolator, it's much easier to just go ahead and take this 15mm bolt out and remove this whole assembly as one piece, and then we can take it off once it's on the ground. So we'll grab our 15mm socket on our impact and go ahead and run that bolt out. Now we will need to support our tailpipe here while we go ahead and unbolt that. Now that we have that unbolted, we'll go ahead and unhook this from its locator. So now we've got our driver's side tailpipe in hand, and what we're going to do is push it towards the driver's side wheel here, so to get it off of the 2 mounting studs on that flange, and then we're going to go ahead and drop it down and pull it back and go ahead and get it out. So like so. just like that. So now we can go ahead and start removing the main section of our catback. So what we're gonna do is start at the ball flare clamp here at the end of our Y pipe, and we're gonna go ahead and loosen that up. We're gonna go ahead and remove the hangers as well, moving all the way back to the tailpipe, and then go ahead and remove the other rear hanger isolator just as we showed you on the driver's side with another 15 mil bolt. We're gonna go ahead and throw a pole jack under the muffler to help support the system while we do this. So now we can go ahead and grab our 13 mil socket on our impact, loosen up this clamp, get it out of the way. You just want to push this back far enough to where it doesn't interfere with your connection. So we'll go ahead and be able to remove that. So next we're going to go ahead and remove this hanger from the isolator. So we've got our hanger removal tool, and we'll go ahead and pop that out. So now we've come to the rear of our system, and just like the other side, we're going to go ahead and pop this rear hanger isolator off. Then go ahead and remove the two mid hangers at the muffler, and then go ahead and remove our system. So we've got our 15 mil socket on our ratchet. We'll go ahead and pop this off, work our way up to the middle two hangers, and then go ahead and pop those off. Go ahead and remove that from its locator so it's out of the way. We can even take that all the way off right now. Then we'll grab our hanger removal tool and go up and get those middle two. So now we've got our hanger removal tool. We'll go ahead and get these two muffler hangers off. And we've also got an extra set of hands. This is going to be very helpful to get this system off, as it needs to kind of finagle around the differential and the cross member up front. Now you want to make sure you are supporting your system as you remove this last hanger. We'll go ahead and lower our pole jack. Get that out of the way. Then we'll have to slide our system to the side. So now we're going to have to bring our system back a hair. You want to make sure you don't catch it on any lines or anything like that. So once you get your mid-pipe flange across your cross member, you can start to go back forward. Drop the front of your system down. And go ahead and feed your system out. So now that we have everything off, we'll go ahead and pull this last rear hanger isolator off from our driver's side one that we set aside earlier. So we'll just go ahead and pop that right off and go ahead and set it aside. Alrighty guys, welcome back. Now that we've shown you how to remove your factory setup, we can begin installing our new system. So we're gonna start up here at our mid pipe, and we're gonna get our new hanger into our factory isolator and line up our flare and reuse that factory flare clamp and go ahead and snug that down. Then we can move on and begin installing the rest of our setup. We'll go ahead and get this over the cross member, get that hanger in there, line up our flare, move down here. And we'll go ahead and again use our 13 mil socket on our impact to snug our clamp down. Next, we can go ahead and install our muffler. So what we're going to do is grab our provided 3-inch clamp, slide that over our mid pipe, and then we can go ahead and bring in a pole jack to help support our muffler. Go ahead and get our inlet section of our muffler slid over our mid pipe here, and then we'll snug this clamp down. Then we'll go ahead and work on our outlets. So now we'll go ahead and grab our 15 mil socket on our impact and snug our clamp down. So now we can get our outlet tubes in. So we'll go ahead and get two of our 2.5-inch clamps slid over our slip joints here on our muffler outlet section. Then we'll go ahead and set our outlet pipes in place and get the hangers into the factory isolators. Now we'll go ahead and snug this clamp down again with our 15mm socket. And then we'll install our driver side outlet crossover pipe. So now we can install our outlet sections. So we're going to grab those factory rear isolators that we took off our other setup. We'll go ahead and install that onto our rear hangers, just like so. And we'll take our provided 2.5-inch clamps, slide them onto our outlet. Then we'll go ahead and get this forward and up into our bumper exit and go ahead and get our slip joints on and our hanger lined up. We'll go ahead and get our locator in place for our hanger and reinstall that factory 15mm bolt. Tighten that down with our 15mm socket on our ratchet. Now we can get our clamp in place and go ahead and tighten that down again with our 15mm socket. Now we'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. So once we have that in, we'll go ahead and install our 15mm bolt for our isolator on this side. We can tighten that down with our 15mm socket. And we'll go ahead and get our clamp on. We'll make sure nothing is hitting. We'll go ahead and tighten this down. So now that we have our outlets tight and we know nothing's hitting, we'll come back and fully tighten down the rest of our clamps. We'll grab our two outlet clamps, our single inlet clamp, and then our flare clamp at the factory Y pipe.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and the install of the Flowmaster FlowFX dual rear exit exhaust system, pinning all 2019 and newer Sierra 1500s with a factory dual exhaust system. And you can find this right here on AmericanTrucks.com.